Morning. Please come in and take your seats, and we'll get going with our next segment here for the National Remarketing Conference and the NAAA Convention. How about a round of applause for Glenn and Tom? Amazing information earlier today, absolutely. I think our next segment is certainly very timely as we take a look back at the year of 2017. And in just a moment, I'm going to invite Jim up here. But this next segment is Safety in the Open Lane, the Path Forward. Jim's going to speak to us on some issues that are very near and dear to his heart, and quite frankly, an area where he's been a tremendous industry leader. This segment is going to be sponsored by Fiserv, so please welcome to the stage this morning, Jim Hallett.
Thank you, Bill, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. It's really an honor to be with so many auction leaders to discuss a topic that is incredibly important and meaningful to me and to our industry. Safety has always been a priority, but I believe we've reached a defining moment where the decisions we make and the actions that we take will determine our future and perhaps our very existence. So I appreciate you being here as part of this dialogue, and I'm truly humbled by the turnout this morning. I'd like to begin with a story about when I opened my first auto auction back in Ottawa, Canada in 1990. I had been working for a franchise dealer, and opening my own auction was something I had prepared for and dreamed about for many years. In addition to the feelings of hope and excitement and some of those first day nerves, opening my own auction instilled in me a sense of incredible responsibility. I was a business owner, and I knew that people were now depending on me. I had employees who were depending on their paychecks to make a decent living, to support their family and their loved ones. I had customers who depended on me to provide a fair and honest, profitable marketplace to buy and sell their vehicles. And even though no one requested it, I knew people were depending on me to provide a safe work environment. I took these responsibilities very seriously because they had represented the values that had been instilled in me by working in the industry, building strong relationships, and learning from my wonderful mentors. A few years later, an accident at my auction in Ottawa nearly killed one of my closest childhood friends. An SUV accelerated suddenly, got out of the lanes, and injured several people, including my good friend. I was in Indianapolis at the time, and I immediately flew to Ottawa, where I found my friend in a hospital bed. The event was devastating to me as a business owner, as a friend, and as a human being. At that time, I began questioning myself, what could I have done differently? How could I have prevented this? I had been in the industry for many years, and I was well aware of all the potential dangers. But I didn't think something like that would happen at my auction, certainly not on my watch. My experience at the Ottawa Auto Dealers Exchange taught me a lot of things, and it set me forth on a path to becoming the CEO of Car Auction Services in the 250 auctions that we operate today. I am forever grateful that my friend survived, and though the accident stays with me every day, the memory fuels my passion, my commitment, and my obsession with safety. Each year, almost 3 million U.S. workers suffer a serious job-related injury, and approximately 4,500 of those injuries result in a fatality. Unintentional injuries are still the fourth largest killer in America, led only by medical conditions like heart conditions and cancer. Now, auto auctions are not the largest contributors to these troubling stats. In fact, we're not even in the top 10. But according to the Bureau of Labor and Stats, 4 out of every 100 wholesale vehicle industry employees are injured each year. An injury rate on par with steel foundries and hazardous waste collection services. Even minor accidents can negatively impact the lives and health of those injured, and they can lead to serious financial and operational consequences. Fines and penalties from regulatory agencies like OSHA now exceed $12,000 per violation and can reach up to $126,000 for repeated violations. They are also medical costs and disability costs and significant costs of lost work productivity. According to the Centers for Disease Control, workplace injuries and illness cost U.S. employers about $225 billion each year. Yes, that's billion with a B. And approximately half of this is due to lost work productivity. None of these financial costs consider the intangibles, like damage to reputation, relationships, and employee morale. And ultimately, whatever impact we feel pales in comparison to the human impact and the lost income, pain, and emotional stress incurred by those injured and their families and their loved ones. Safety events are something that I and many of you here today have witnessed far too many times over our careers. And when accidents occur, they affect the entire industry. Safety isn't a big auction issue or a small auction issue. It's not about blame. It should never be about competition. Safety is an industry responsibility, pure and simple. Safety is the most basic obligation we owe to our employees and to our customers. It's simply the price of admission. And we're all in this together. Over the past several years, the NAAA has taken a strong leadership role in promoting safety. And Frank Hackett has been a vocal advocate for accelerating our industry efforts in this area. We need to continue working, holding ourselves accountable, and we need to put our competitive differences aside for the greater cause of saving lives. Protecting the lives of our employees and our customers was a responsibility of mine when I opened the Ottawa Dealers Exchange, and it's a responsibility that we all share together today. I believe we can fulfill our responsibility by focusing on three key areas: culture, innovation, and collaboration. Let's start with culture. So I assume that many of you flew here to California to attend this meeting. And I'm sure we've all had the experience of waiting to board a plane or waiting to take off when they make that announcement that the cockpit maintenance light is turned on. It usually has nothing to do with the structure of the plane or the ability of the pilots, but the plane does not take off until the issue is resolved. That's the culture, 0% risk. For passengers, it's frustrating and it's inconvenient, but the airlines are saving our lives. The truth is, safety isn't always convenient, and it does not take extra time and effort. It does take extra time and effort, but it needs to be part of our culture, and it needs to start from the top. Whether you're an auction owner, an executive, or a yard manager, as leaders, it is up to us to set the tone and the positive example for our employees. They look to us for guidance, so we need to make safety a part of our everyday dialogue. And they need to see our commitment to safety in our day-to-day actions. At CAR, we have executive and business unit safety committees and dedicated safety coordinators at each location. I take every opportunity I can to reinforce the importance of safety with our employees and with our leadership teams. But like anything, talking will only get you so far. You also need tactical approaches to promote safety within your operating culture. Like airlines, we shouldn't open the auction or send cars down the lanes until the checklist is complete and our own cockpit maintenance light is turned off. It's not about creating another set of rules or policies. It's about finding ways to make safety automatic and just part of what you do. At CAR, we set out 5 years ago to create a culture of safety that would engage every employee at every location and every level of the organization. And so, Safety SAM was born. Many of you are familiar with the Safety SAM program because we've partnered with the NAAA to make it available to all NAAA member auctions. The program includes different levels of safety training and awareness depending on each employee's. All of CAR's 17,600 employees in all 310 locations across the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and the United Kingdom are required to complete their designated safety training each year. Last year, our employees completed nearly 300,000 hours of safety training. And even though this represents a huge investment in time, resources, and workload, we've seen the program paying off. Since we launched Safety SAM, our total injury rate has dropped significantly, even as we increased our overall employee headcount by 43%. We're also seeing some very positive momentum from across the industry. There are now 88 NAAA member auctions and almost 10,000 auction employees who are 100% safety certified. That is a great achievement, or as I like to say, it's a great start. Safety is a journey. It's not a project or some finish line that we will eventually cross. And every day our operations, behaviors at the auctions are changing. So we need to keep up with these changes. We need to continuously evaluate how well we're performing on safety, and we need to keep innovating. In my opinion, if we're truly following through on our commitment to safety, we need to focus as much time, resources, and creativity into safety as we do in our business operations. When it comes to safety innovation, that can be a double-edged sword. Innovation is all around us, and new discovery is one area that often leads to innovation and new applications in other businesses. But it can also increase safety risk. Take auctions and mobile technology, for example. There is no question that advances in digital technology have made our business faster, smarter, and more convenient than ever before. Customers can use mobile phones to participate in online auctions, arrange financing and transportation services, and even launch their own auctions right from the palm of their hands. But mobile phones also create a variety of new safety risks and challenges for the auctions. Opening doors for VIN scans while cars are in the lanes, for example, dramatically increases the likelihood of distracted driving and inadvertent acceleration. And because customers, like all of us, are doing more on their phones, they spend more time looking down and less time looking around, being aware of their surroundings. Now, you might ask, why not just ban cell phone use at the auctions, like Honolulu, Hawaii has done for pedestrians crossing the street? The answer is because mobile phones have become essential tools of our trade. So it forces us to be innovative about how we will work with this technology, not against it, to capture all of the benefits and value while protecting against dangers of distraction. One approach CAR is currently exploring is the use of motion sensors and LED light strips. The concept is simple. Motion sensors are installed above the lanes, and when cars move, the sensors trigger flashing red LED light strips installed on the floor of the lanes. So even if dealers are heads down, checking Facebook, Twitter, or the latest auto remarketing email, they would still be alerted to the fact that cars are in motion and they need to be careful. Another recent auction innovation came from ADESA Montreal, who was just awarded the grand prize for safety innovation for Canada's Commission on Labor, Health, and Safety Standards. Our team in Montreal designed a new wheel dolly that reduces manual intervention when transporting inoperable vehicles. The dolly allows for safer movement of customer vehicles on the auction lot while also reducing risk to employees and to our customers. These are good examples of how we are innovating to improve safety, and we will continue to test new safety ideas in every corner of our organization. So I'd like to shift to a question that I'm often asked. Why don't we just stop running cars altogether and do everything online? There is no question that online and digital transactions will reduce some of the inherent risk of physical auctions. And just like retail purchases, banking, and other industries in our lives, we are seeing more and more auction sellers and dealers going digital. Last year, our ADESA and insurance auto auction businesses sold about 50% of our inventory to online buyers. And we continue to see increased volume on our OpenLane platform and our TradeRev dealer-to-dealer mobile app marketplace. And it's certainly not just car. Many other auctions are expanding digital solutions that will, when taken as a whole, will certainly reduce safety risk. But going digital alone is not a silver bullet solution. Not every injury occurs on sale day, and cars need to be moved, parked, detailed, and imaged, all of which create risk, whether it's sale day or not. Additionally, not every seller is ready to move cars to a digital-only solution, and many buyers still prefer to see and touch cars at the physical auction before making a purchase decision. The industry's continued expansion into the digital era can play a meaningful role in improving safety. But ultimately, we need a two-front approach. First, we need to keep innovating to reduce risk and to make the physical auctions as safe as possible. And second, we need to engage our sellers and buyers in a direct, open, and honest dialogue about accelerating the move to a safer digital marketplace. In both cases, when we find something that works, when proven that a technique or an approach is making a difference, we need to share it with the world. Which brings me to my final point regarding collaboration. When I think about collaboration and breaking down competitive barriers, the gold standard example that comes to mind is the world of cybersecurity. There is arguably no company, government, or individual who is immune from a cyber attack. The threats grow more numerous and more sophisticated each day, and security breaches are rarely contained to a single system or single location. Very early on, public and private entities figured out that no one had all the answers, and the best way to protect confidential and proprietary information was to work together. There are now cybersecurity work groups and councils at every level of government and collaborative task forces dedicated to the same across almost every industry, and CAR is very active in this dialogue. And through these regular discussions, these groups collectively and effectively identify, prevent, and mitigate thousands of potentially harmful cyber events each and every day. We need to start viewing auction safety through that very same lens and approach it with the same degree of cooperation and collaboration. No single auction or company has all the answers, and the power of our collective expertise will greatly outweigh what any one of us could accomplish on our own. As auctions discover new ways to make lanes safer, we should be sharing those techniques so others can evaluate and adopt those same measures at their own facilities. And when a safety event occurs, we need to act quickly to determine the root cause and then broadly disseminate the lessons learned across our industry. By understanding factors that lead to an accident, we can help prevent other auctions from making similar mistakes. The key to success here is being proactive. Our industry's dialogue on safety cannot be passive or episodic. And as productive as conferences like this one are, they're not enough to keep all of us educated and informed on the latest developments in safety. The NAAA does have an active safety committee and task force, but we need greater and more active participation from auctions of all sizes, in all geographies. And we need to be deliberate about creating new forums and channels that will help us routinely share ideas, test new approaches, and partner on potential new breakthroughs in safety. Several months ago, in partnership with the NAAA, CAR hosted a safety day at our Odessa, Boston location that was attended by representatives from 14 different auctions. And while we shared many of CAR's safety protocols, we also learned many new approaches that other auctions in attendance had implemented. Similarly, last month in Indianapolis, NAAA convened executives from many of the major auction groups to discuss ways to expand the dialogue and accelerate innovation in safety. Our discussions focused on things like safety training, personal safety equipment for our employees, and the need for better and more coordinated emergency response plans when accidents do occur. I know Frank's team is working on formalizing some of these recommendations, and the NAAA will take the lead on distributing that information as it gets finalized. Quick story regarding that meeting. As the day was wrapping up, a comment was made that this was the first time in over 12 years that the leaders of these groups had all come together to specifically address auction safety. 12 years. I know I speak for Frank and the other leaders who participated in saying we'd like to see this group double or triple in size and to meet much, much more frequently. In closing, I'd like to share one more stat with you that I've intentionally left for the end so it wouldn't overshadow the positive work that is already underway. But since 1992, more than 100 individuals have lost their lives due to accidents, fires, falls, and other injuries sustained in the U.S. wholesale auto industry. That's 100 husbands, wives, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, loved ones, co-workers, and friends. Ladies and gentlemen, 100 is too many, 1 is too many, and 1 more is something our industry should absolutely do everything within our power to prevent. We need to transform safety from concept to priority to reality, and we need to start today. As I look out across the room, I've known many of you for 10, 20, 30 years. We've worked together, we've had dinner together, and we've competed with each other. And together, we've seen a lot of change in our industry. But no matter how much our business evolves at its core, the auction business is still all about people in the communities where we live and work. Let's stay focused on keeping those people safe and keeping safety at the top of our list. We are all in this together. Safety is our responsibility, and together we can make it happen. Thank you.